Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS, and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. This is one of those rumors that could shake up the entire NFC East. There's talk swirling around Penei Sewell, the Lions' star offensive tackle, potentially heading to Washington. Yeah, I know it sounds like a blockbuster, but when you dig into the details, it starts to make a lot of sense. The Lions, sitting comfortably at 9-2 with a cap space of around $11 million, are apparently open to making a bold move. And the target? Sewell. The idea is to maybe swap him for a first-round pick in 2026, which could be a game-changer for the Commanders, especially when it comes to stabilizing and strengthening that offensive line, which has been a bit of a roller coaster this season. You see, after the injury to Daniels with his dislocated shoulder and Rodriguez dealing with illness, Washington's offensive line has had some rough patches. They've been battling to keep that pocket clean for Howell, and frankly, they need reinforcements. Sewell, a draft pick from 2021, has been a colossus on the right side for Detroit. Over his 5-year career, he's played 70 games, earning a high PFF grade of 89.7 with run blocking at 90. 5 and pass protection at 88. 2, he's allowed only around 120 pressures and 12 sacks in his career, with an EPA per block of about 0. 15 and an impressive win rate of 85%. This guy's the real deal, a true anchor on the line, and his presence could turn Washington's OL from a marginal unit into a fortress. Some would argue, well, why would Detroit trade him? And that's a fair point. Detroit is sitting pretty at 9-2, and Goff's contract situation might be nudging the Lions towards some cap flexibility. They also have other needs, like upgrading their secondary or adding more weapons at wide receiver. Their recent extension of Amon-Ra St. Brown shows they're still in a winning mode, but perhaps they see Sewell as a trade asset to help balance their roster and cap. Plus, the Lions are known for their smart moves, and if the price is right, a first-round pick in 2026, they might be willing to part ways with Sewell, especially if it helps them address other pressing needs. From Washington's perspective, landing Sewell would be a seismic upgrade to their offensive line. Picture this: Sewell protecting Howell's blind side alongside Wiley, creating a formidable duo. The immediate impact: well, experts are projecting a plus 20% boost in pass protection efficiency, which translates into fewer sacks, potentially dropping from around 3-4 sacks per game to closer to 2-0. That's huge for Howell, giving him more time to operate and making play-action passes more effective, boosting that metric from 45% up to around 63%. And we all know more time and better protection lead to more successful plays, especially when you're trying to stretch the field or execute those crucial third-down conversions. But it's not just about the numbers. Sewell's presence on the line means mismatches for defenses, especially against weaker pass rushers. His ability to dominate in run blocking is also a game-changer, with a run lane increase of about 4.2 yards per carry and a YAC, yards after contact, average of 5. 0 per attempt. Sewell would open up holes for our running backs and give Howell that extra second to make the right read. We've seen how crucial a dominant offensive line is in the NFL, and Sewell's consistency and elite talent could be the foundation that helps Washington finally reach that elusive Super Bowl. Now, let's talk about some of the strategic nuances. The trade would likely involve the Commanders giving up a first-round pick in 2026, which might seem like a big gamble, but in the long run, having Sewell as the cornerstone of the line for the next several years could pay dividends. Plus, his style of play, size, power, agility, fits perfectly with what Rivera and Scott Turner want on offense. It's about establishing a running game, controlling the clock, and giving Howell the best possible protection to develop and thrive. In terms of the division, this move could be a game-changer. The NFC East has always been a fierce battleground, with the Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants all trying to outdo each other. But if Washington manages to secure Sewell, that's a serious statement that they're not just in the playoff hunt, they're in it to win it. A dominant OL anchored by Sewell could be the difference-maker in close games, especially during the playoff push. It would make the Commanders more balanced on offense, more unpredictable, and ultimately tougher to beat. And let's not forget the impact on the roster's future. Sewell, with his leadership and consistent performance, could become a cornerstone for years to come. His ability to elevate the entire offensive line could also influence the development of other young players, like our guards and centers. This isn't just a short-term fix. It's a long-term investment into building a dynasty in burgundy and gold. Of course, there are skeptics. Some might say that Detroit isn't really in a rush to trade Sewell, especially if they're competing for a Super Bowl. They might prefer to keep him given his value and potential. But the fact remains, the NFL is always about strategic moves, and if the Lions see a good offer, especially with the draft capital involved, they could change their stance. Meanwhile, Washington has to weigh the benefits against the cap implications and the potential loss of draft assets. From a broader perspective, this rumor fits into Washington's ongoing quest to strengthen every facet of their team. We saw last offseason how adding key pieces like the offensive line can transform a team's identity. Now, with Sewell's potential arrival, the Commanders could set a new standard on the line, one that rivals the best in the league. It's about building that foundation, that unbreakable wall that allows Howell to flourish and the offense to become truly explosive. Looking at the upcoming schedule and the current season, it's clear that Washington needs to be aggressive if they want to make a serious playoff run. The NFC East is crowded, and every game counts. Improving the offensive line with a player of Sewell's caliber could be the step that pushes them over the top. It's about seizing opportunities, making bold moves when they matter most, and setting the stage for success in the long run. In the end, whether or not this trade materializes, it sparks a lot of conversation about Washington's future direction. It's a bold move that signals the team's commitment to winning and to building a sustainable, dominant offensive line. Sewell's talent and presence could be the missing piece that propels Washington back into serious Super Bowl contention, turning the page from recent struggles into a new era of excellence. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Finally, fans, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think the Commanders should go all in for Sewell? Would you be willing to trade a first-round pick in 2026 for such a game-changing tackle? How do you see this impacting the team's chances in the playoffs and beyond? Drop your comments below. Your opinion really matters, not just to us, but to the future of Washington football. And remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. Let's keep the passion alive and continue supporting our team through thick and thin. We're building something special in burgundy and gold, and every move counts in this quest for glory.